She walked into the room smiling, sat down across from you, said all the right things, laughed at the right moments. And when you asked, "Hey, are you okay?" she looked up, held your gaze for just a second too long, and said, "I'm fine." But her hands were wrapped tightly around her coffee cup, like she was holding on to something. Her laugh came just a half-second late, and when she smiled, it was only her mouth. Her eyes stayed somewhere else entirely. She wasn't fine, and somewhere inside you, you already knew that. So why did she say it? Why do we say it? Why does almost every human being on the planet at some point look someone they love directly in the eye and say two words that mean absolutely nothing? That's what we're exploring today. And I promise, by the end of this video, you will never hear "I'm fine" the same way again. So let's start with the real question. Why do people hide how they feel? Not because they're dishonest, not because they don't trust you, but for reasons that go much deeper than that. Reasons that most of us have never actually stopped to examine. Reason 1, protection. Sometimes, saying "I'm fine" is an act of self-preservation. When someone has been hurt before, really hurt, by being vulnerable, they learn a painful lesson. That opening up doesn't always lead to connection. Sometimes it leads to judgment. Sometimes it leads to someone minimizing their pain. Sometimes it leads to nothing at all. So they build a wall, not to shut you out, but to protect what's left of them inside. Think about a friend who went through something difficult a year ago and tried to talk about it. And the people around them changed the subject or said, "You'll be fine. Just stay positive." Now they don't share anymore. And you wonder why they seem distant. That's not distance. That's armor. Reason 2, social conditioning. A little more conversational. From the time we're children, most of us are taught, directly or indirectly, that strong emotions are inconvenient. Don't cry. Be strong. You're so sensitive. Other people have it worse. We absorb these messages. We internalize them. And slowly, we learn to package our feelings into a neat, manageable answer. "I'm fine." It's not a lie exactly. It's a habit. A social reflex that says, "I know how to behave in polite company." Because we live in a world that often rewards people who appear composed and questions people who appear emotional. And when you've been taught your whole life that feeling deeply is somehow a flaw, you get very good at hiding it. Reason 3, fear of being a burden. This is the one that breaks my heart the most. So many people, genuinely good, deeply caring people, stay silent because they are terrified of being too much. They think, "My problems aren't that serious. Everyone has their own things going on. I don't want to make this about me. I don't want to bother anyone." So they swallow it. They carry it alone. And they smile and say, "I'm fine," because in their mind, that's what a good friend does. A good partner. A good colleague. They protect you from having to deal with them. And the saddest part? The people who do this the most are usually the ones who would drop everything to be there for someone else. They give it freely, but they cannot receive it. Here's what's remarkable about human beings. Even when we choose not to speak our truth, our body keeps broadcasting it. The mind can decide to say, "I'm fine," but the body has its own language. And it speaks constantly, honestly, and whether we want it to or not. Let me walk you through what that actually looks like. Micro-expressions. Psychologist Paul Ekman discovered that the human face produces tiny, involuntary flickers of emotion, lasting less than a quarter of a second, before the conscious mind can control them. A flash of sadness before the smile kicks in. A brief tightening of the jaw. A quick, almost invisible pull at the corner of the mouth. You may not be able to name what you're seeing, but your brain registers it. That's why sometimes someone laughs and you feel unsettled. Something didn't match. Something flickered through before the performance began. The eyes. The eyes are the one part of the face that people forget to perform with. A genuine smile reaches the eyes. Tiny creases form at the corners. The whole face lifts. A performed smile stays below. The eyes remain flat, still, somewhere else. And when someone is holding back tears, watch for the slight redness at the inner corners. The way they blink a little more often than usual. The way their gaze drifts upward slightly, as if they're trying to keep something from spilling out. The eyes always tell the truth, even when the mouth doesn't. Body language. When we feel pain or discomfort, our bodies try to make themselves smaller. We hunch slightly. We cross our arms. Not aggressively, but quietly, like a self-hug. We turn our body at an angle, as if part of us is already moving away from the conversation. And hands. Pay attention to hands. hands that wrap tightly around a cup, hands that fidget with a ring or a bracelet, hands that go very, very still, pressed flat against a table, as if the person is holding themselves together from the outside in. The voice. Tone carries what words refuse to. When someone says, "I'm fine," and they are actually fine, there's a lightness to it, an easiness. It flows. When someone says, "I'm fine," and they are not fine, there's often a flatness, a slight drop at the end of the sentence, a pause before the words come, like they had to locate them first. Or sometimes the opposite, they say it too quickly, too brightly, as if the speed and the volume can make it more convincing. Neither one sounds like ease. Behavioral shifts. Sometimes the signal isn't in a single moment, it's in a pattern. The friend who used to text you every other day and has gone quiet for 2 weeks. The partner who always made eye contact and has suddenly started finding things to look at across the room. The coworker who used to linger and chat after meetings and now packs up and leaves immediately. Withdrawal. Quieting. A slow dimming of someone who used to be bright around you. That is a signal. And it is asking for something even if it doesn't know how to ask out loud. Let me show you what this looks like in real life. Scenario 1. The friend. You meet your best friend for lunch. She's dressed nicely, smiling, asks about your life with genuine interest. But you notice she hasn't touched her food. She laughs, but her hands stay busy, turning her fork over and over. And when a lull falls in the conversation, her eyes go somewhere far away for just a second before she snaps back. You ask, "Hey, you doing okay?" She says, "Yeah, I'm fine, just tired." And you think about the fork. You think about her eyes going somewhere else. You say gently, "You sure? Because I'm not in a rush, and I'm right here." And something in her face changes, just slightly, like a door that wasn't quite locked just opened. That's the moment that matters. Scenario 2. The partner. It's a regular Tuesday evening. Dinner is quiet. Not uncomfortably, but quieter than usual. Your partner answers questions in full sentences, but doesn't start conversations. They sit slightly turned away on the couch. When you reach for their hand, they take it, but their grip is loose, absent. You don't push. You don't ask 3 times. You just sit with them for a moment. Then you say, "I don't need you to talk if you don't want to, but I'm right here, and I love you. And I noticed you seem like you're somewhere else tonight." They don't cry. They don't flood you with words, but they shift. They lean closer, and they say, "I'm just in my head a bit. I'll be okay." And for now, that's enough, because they know you saw them, and that changes everything. Scenario 3. The coworker. He's one of the most capable people on your team. Always solid. Always shows up. But lately, in meetings, he's stopped offering ideas. He used to be the first to speak. Now he sits back, arms crossed, eyes down. He responds when addressed but no longer volunteers. After the meeting ends, he's out the door before anyone else. You stop by his desk one afternoon. Not to discuss work. Just, "Hey, how are you actually doing?" Not work doing. You. He looks up, surprised. And in that surprise, you see it. A slight loosening of the jaw. A moment of being caught off guard by someone actually asking. "I'm okay," he says, but slower this time. More honest. "Okay," you say. "I just want you to know. I notice you, and I'm around." You walk away. You don't wait for the floodgates to open. But you planted something. And sometimes that's exactly what someone needs. So what do we actually do with all of this? Here are 5 things you can practice starting today. Tip 1. Don't just accept the answer. Hold space instead. When someone says, "I'm fine," instead of moving on, try simply pausing. You don't have to interrogate. You don't have to push. Just stay in the moment a little longer than usual. The silence itself sends a message. I'm not in a rush. I'm here. You can keep going if you want to. Most people who aren't ready to talk will feel that safety. And some of them will use it. Tip 2. Name what you're noticing gently. There's power in saying what you see. Calmly, without accusation. "You seem a little quiet today. You look like you've got something on your mind. Your energy feels a bit different." Just checking in. You're not diagnosing them. You're not demanding an explanation. You're just saying, "I see you," more than you might realize. That act of being witnessed, even in a small way, can feel profoundly comforting to someone who's been carrying something alone. Tip 3. Lower the stakes of the conversation. One reason people stay behind "I'm fine" is because opening up feels like a big, heavy event. Like once they start, they can't stop. Like they'll fall apart. You can ease that by making the door feel small and safe. No pressure at all. I'm not trying to make this a whole thing. I just care about you and wanted to check in. Small door. Soft light. No pressure to walk all the way through. Sometimes that's enough to get them to take one step forward. Tip 5. Share your own vulnerability first. Sometimes the reason people can't say, "I'm not fine," is because they've never seen anyone else do it safely. You can change that. Honestly, I've been having kind of a hard week myself. Just thought I'd be real with you. When you open the door on your side, it gives them permission to open theirs. Vulnerability is contagious. And when it's offered gently, without drama, it creates the safest kind of space. Here's what I keep coming back to. When someone says, "I'm fine," and they're not lying to you. They're asking a question. They're asking, is this a safe place? Do you actually want to know? Will you still be here if I show you the harder parts of me? And the answer we give, not with words but with our presence, shapes whether they ever try again. We live in a world that moves fast, that values efficiency, that rewards people who keep it together and quietly judges people who fall apart in public. And inside all of that, human beings are still doing what they've always done. Still reaching for each other. Still hoping someone will see through the performance and find the real thing underneath. That someone can be you. Not because you have the perfect words. Not because you have all the answers. But because you notice. Because you stay. Because you make it safe for the truth to show up slowly, in its own time. Have you ever been on either side of this? Have you ever said, "I'm fine," when you really weren't? Or have you ever had someone see through it, and it changed something for you? I want to hear your story. Drop it in the comments below. Because these conversations matter. And this community is a space where they're welcome. If this video meant something to you, please share it with someone who might need it. Like it if it resonated. Subscribe if you want more of this kind of content. We go deep here and we do it with care. Thank you for being here. Thank you for the kind of person you are. Someone who watches a video like this because you want to show up better for the people you love. That matters more than you know. Take care of each other. I'll see you in the next one.